The day of my wedding had been going perfectly. Everything felt like a dream. Until the garter game. That one moment flipped my entire memory of the day upside down. What was supposed to be a light-hearted wedding tradition turned into something I now can't forget or laugh about. During the reception, we went through all the usual activities. When it came time for the garter removal, my wife sat in a chair in the center of the dance floor, surrounded by our friends and family. I was handed a blindfold and told I'd be doing it blindfolded, which seemed like a fun twist. Everyone around me was smiling and joking, and I wanted to go along with it, so I played the part. What I didn't know was that the moment the blindfold went on, my wife quietly stepped away. In her place, one of my groomsmen, a guy I've known most of my life but don't particularly get along with, sat down in the chair wearing shorts and a garter belt on his leg. My wife stood behind him, speaking to me the whole time to keep up the illusion. I thought I was reaching for her leg, following the directions as everyone around us laughed and cheered. Then I heard her voice say, "Use your mouth." Trying to be a good sport, I leaned in and grabbed the garter with my teeth. People screamed with laughter and applause as I worked it down the leg, still thinking it was hers. I even needed her help to slide it off his foot when it got stuck on his sandal. Only when I took off the blindfold did I realize the truth. The moment I opened my eyes and saw him sitting there, everyone around us burst into uncontrollable laughter. I stood there with a dumb smile on my face, still trying to process what had just happened. But deep down, I felt exposed, like the joke had been on me the whole time. All the joy I had felt leading up to that point vanished in an instant. I wanted to lash out, to say something, anything, to push back against the humiliation. But instead, I stayed quiet. I laughed along, pretended it didn't bother me, because somehow that felt less painful than showing everyone how hurt I really was. I pushed through the rest of the wedding and smiled in the photos. My wife didn't realize the extent of my feelings. We had so many people around, and I didn't want to ruin the day. I kept quiet the next day during the brunch, and even on our honeymoon, I tried to push it aside. At one point I convinced myself she hadn't meant any harm, and maybe I shouldn't taint her memory of the wedding just because mine had been soured. But near the end of our trip, after a few drinks, I couldn't keep it inside anymore. When I brought it up, everything I had bottled up came spilling out. I called it trashy. I told her it had shaken my trust in her, and made me feel stripped of any sense of closeness or safety. I was blunt, maybe too blunt, and I kept talking until she finally walked away from the conversation. At first, she had apologized, but as I kept going, she got upset and left me sitting alone. I won't lie, I think part of me wanted to hurt her a little in return, to make her feel just a fraction of what I had felt. Since then, it's become a sensitive topic between us. I've asked her not to bring up the wedding or show me the photos. I can't bring myself to write the thank you cards. I don't want to talk about anniversaries or plans to celebrate. I'm stuck in that moment, me on my knees, blindfolded, with everyone laughing at me. That memory plays in a loop inside my head, over and over again. To make matters worse, the whole thing was caught on video. We hired a professional videographer, and I know at least 4 guests filmed it on their phones too. When I watch the footage, all I can see are the laughing faces. People I love, people I thought respected me. And there's a small, irrational part of me that wants to lash out at all of them. I know I wouldn't, but the feeling is there. The knowledge that this video exists, that people have likely watched and laughed at it since, makes it feel like the humiliation is ongoing, never-ending. My wife continues to say she's sorry. She claims she really thought I would laugh it off, that I'd enjoy the surprise. But I don't think she ever considered what it would feel like to be me in that moment. I sometimes catch myself trying to rationalize my anger by telling myself it was a form of assault, being tricked into putting my mouth on someone else's body. I know that's likely me trying to make sense of how violated I felt. But regardless, the pain is real. I've learned that pranks only work when everyone, including the person being pranked, ends up laughing. Otherwise, it's just cruelty dressed up as humor. I don't think my wife did this out of spite. But it still hurts that on a day meant to celebrate our union, she was willing to turn me into the punchline of a joke in front of everyone. Some people have offered suggestions. Call the wedding planner who suggested this prank. Tell them how damaging it was. Ask the videographer to cut that part from the footage and delete any related content. Maybe even see a therapist, not to diminish what I'm feeling, but to help me process it all. And honestly, that might be a good idea. I still don't know what I want my wife to do to make this right. Maybe there's nothing she can do now, but I know I'm not okay. And I don't know how to let this go.